Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today is going to be a fun day. We're going to actually continue working on the rust repair. So fun as in not really fun, but this is something that I dread a lot. I don't like cutting metal and all that kind of stuff, all the sparks flying everywhere. But yeah, we're going to get back on track and fix the passenger side. So today I'm going to continue working on the inner wheel arch area where there's still some rust. I'm going to be mechanically cutting them all out and using some wire brushes and actually grinding out as much of the rust as possible. Then I'm going to use some chemical rust remover and try to remove all the rust chemically, wipe it all down, and hopefully I can use some metal and fabricate some sheets that I've cut out and weld it in place. But I'm actually going to be filming all this using a different camera because I don't want to damage my current camera with the sparks flying everywhere and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to be using my spare kind of Canon digital camera. I kind of tested the quality out. It seems to be okay, but you never know once you edit the video and everything. So just be warned, that's what we're going to be filming with. So today I'm actually going to be using some sheet metal that I purchased at the metal store. This is 20 gauge metal. So I've read online a lot of people use either 19 gauge or 20 gauge to repair, do rust repair and stuff. But this I purchased at a local, I guess, metal supermarket, I guess. And this metal cost me around 30 bucks for 2 sheets of 20 gauge. I guess it's about 10 by 24 inches. So I think it's enough for both sides, driver and passenger. So what I'll be doing is using this metal to fabricate the pieces that I cut out, and hopefully all goes well. By no means am I ever familiar with actually doing any rust repair and fabrication. This is actually all new to me, so I hope I don't make too many mistakes. But I've done a lot of research, so it seems pretty straightforward. It's just that using the welder is not my forte. It's been a long time since I've actually used the welder, and not to mention I'm using a flux core welder to do all the welding. So it's gonna be a little different. It's probably gonna take me a little while, but hopefully all goes well. But yeah, let's get to work, and I'll show you guys the process. So this footage here was filmed with my other camera. I'm cutting out more of the bad metal in the inner wheel arch. The next thing is to change over to a grinding disc to grind down some of the old welds which attach the wheel arch to the jack point. The metal around the jack point needs to be replaced because it's really weak, which I'll be cutting out and replacing. Alright guys, so this is what I've cut out so far, and I've grinded it down. Still a little bit more work to do. Here I use my rotary tool with an extension and attach a steel wire wheel to remove some of the rust. I'm back to using my grinder to grind down and flatten some of the drilled out spot welds. Okay, so from what I noticed is that my digital camera that I set up to originally record this didn't actually record it. It actually keeps turning itself off, so that digital camera didn't work out so good. So I guess I'm gonna have to start filming with this one again. This is basically what I've got so far. I've cut it all out. I have to work on this area here to cut out. It's a little bit more complex here because it's very tight. I'm not sure how I'm gonna get at it, but this part definitely needs to be cut out because you can see it's kind of rotten inside there, so I have to cut pretty high. I don't really want to have to cut out the wheel well a little bit because I don't really have another one to replace it, so have to think of a way to get in there without cutting through some more of the good stuff on the outside. But it doesn't look like it's possible unless I cut more of this off, but I have to take a look. But for now, this is what it looks like. It's almost ready to be welded, the bottom piece here, but you gotta fix this piece first because otherwise you can't get in there afterwards. So I'm gonna continue working on this. Now back to cutting out more bad metal and some more sparks. I'm using a spot weld remover drill bit to drill out some of the spot welds attaching the back piece. It was not an easy task drilling out this area. Now I'm switching over to a wire brush to remove some of the undercoating layer with my drill. I attached a cutting disc to my rotary tool extension so that I'm able to get into that area and carefully remove the bad metal. I'm just going to use my big screwdriver and pry around the drilled spot welds to free up that cutout piece in the back. Some more grinding here to flatten out those spot welds. Here's how it looks so far. Back to some more wire brushing. It's a little easier to work this area after opening it up. It's looking pretty clean now. It's a lot better than with all that orange rust before. Now, after mechanically removing as much of the rust that I can, it's time to chemically remove what's left over. Alright, so I've applied the rust remover, the chemical stuff. I'm using this stuff right here, rust remover from Dominion Sure Seal. Seems to be working pretty good so far.
quite a bit of rust here, as you can see, all this orange stuff, but a lot of it is just surface rust, and I've got rid of most of it by mechanically sanding it all, or grinding it. So yeah, I just gotta wait a while for it to eat away at this rust, and then I'm gonna wipe it down with some water, and then it's ready to have some few pieces of metal fabricate on here, or actually a weld-through primer will be a good idea to spray over to protect it. But for now, I'm just waiting for the rust remover to work. Alright, so this is what it looks like after like first coat of the rust remover in the chemical form. So I actually took off a lot of the rust. I just rinsed it out. I'm waiting for it to dry out, and then I'm going to apply another coat just for safe measure, and then I will get some weld through primer, and I'm just gonna spray inside there, and just so all the areas are gonna be covered with weld through primer. And then I'm going to be welding on the piece that I cut, which is basically the bottom piece here. It's right about here. So this is the piece that I'm going to be welding on. And I couldn't get the rust all the way back there. I can't really see it, but you see that brown stuff all the way at the back? Couldn't really reach there, and I'm not going to cut open my entire rocker to do it. It looks like it's just like surface rust. It's just dirty. Doesn't seem like it's impacting the metal too much. So once all this is sealed up, I'm probably going to spray some fluid film right inside here, and that should protect it from any rust in the future. But for now, I still got to weld this piece on, and then I'm gonna have to weld the back piece, and then the front piece, and then the rocker. So there's a few pieces that need to be welded, but slow process, one step at a time. It's finally dry enough to spray on the weld-through primer. I covered up the areas I didn't want to get paint on with some plastic sheets. I'm basically spraying on all the areas that I want protected. I'm using a high build weld-through primer. Here's what it looks like after the application of the weld-through primer. Looks pretty good. I'm clamping down and lining up the piece to be welded. Here's some footage of me welding on the piece. I know it's a bad angle. Alright guys, so this is what I've got so far for the welding. It's on there. It's pretty strong on there. It's not gonna come off, but it is burning through. It's getting late now, so I'm just gonna wrap things up right now and continue another day. But for now, yeah, a lot of these spots are burning through, but I'm making progress. I can fill the holes actually with my welder pretty easily. So let's just hope I get it right. But it's getting easier as I continue. I'm getting more used to this welding thing. But yeah, as you can see, it's pretty ugly. These are my spot welds. Filling them was kind of difficult. So, but I managed to fill them anyways. I still need to kind of grind these down and maybe tack on some more welds, but that's the progress so far. Alright, so I finished off this piece that I welded on. It looks pretty good. I mean, it is my first time actually using a flux core welder. It's not going to be perfect because certain parts were not even, so I had to kind of overlap some stuff. But I grinded it all down. I mean, this is not visible anyways, so what I'm going to do is just paint it with some weld-through primer to prevent it from corrosion, and then maybe just fluid film the inside here later. yeah, that's what I got to so far. It took a long time because I wasn't used to using the welder or anything, but I've managed to tack weld everything down. Everything is actually really sturdy. Jack point is back because this side actually collapsed when I was jacking up the car a long while ago. It actually bent in. So now that it is welded in and supported by this metal, and then another few sheets of metal on top, it should hold up good, and we could use this jack point again. But for now, yeah, I'm actually using the frame rail, which is a bad idea because it actually has dented the frame rail a little bit. The frame rail is not meant to support all that weight of the car, at least not from jacking it up. When you lower it down onto it, it seems to be a little bit okay. But yeah, this is what I got to. I think I'm gonna wrap things up now. I'm still waiting for a tool to flange this inner piece before I could put in that back piece here. And then I've got another piece here that I've cut out already and it's ready to weld on, but this piece here, I need to kind of drill a spot weld in there so that I could connect it to this back piece. Then the rocker will go in, and well, actually then this bottom piece will actually go in. I have to actually still fab up that piece and bend it out. But a lot of progress made in the welding. I mean, this is my first time actually fixing rust, doing a rust repair on my own car, so I don't know, looks pretty good. You know, it's a good little project. So I'm about to finish up now, but I'm just going to cut out what I need off the replacement rocker panel so I have a template to work with when fabricating and lining things up. It's also really tough trying to line things up using the entire rocker panel since it was meant to replace the existing rocker. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Lots of progress made so far, but there's more to come. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.